Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good morning. Today is Thursday, December 19th. Seems late in the year. My name is Jay Rosenthal. I'm the co-founder of Cultivated Media, the host of this program called Cultivated Live. And since we launched just over a year ago, our goal at Cultivated has been to be cannabis industry first, providing you with the most important, insightful, useful, and timely information every single day. We do that through our daily newsletter called Cultivated Daily. We do that through our daily live stream, which is Cultivated Live. So follow us on LinkedIn, subscribe to us on YouTube, and most importantly, get our newsletter in your inbox every single day at cultivated.news. Today on this program, the second to last of this year, I'm joined by Sasha Nutgent from Housing Works Cannabis Company. She is the VP of Retail. So she is busy this time of year all the time, but especially busy because they just opened another shop. Sasha, nice to see you.
Nice to see you, and thank you so much for having me on your show.
Well, it's a pleasure to have you. I don't even know where we want to start, but give us a little bit of Housing Works first, then we'll get into sort of the footprint and how it's going.
Thank you. So Housing Works is a nonprofit organization. We've been operating out of New York City for the past 30 years. We service people living with and affected by HIV, AIDS, and homelessness. And we do that through various channels, one of them being entrepreneurial businesses. We started with thrift shops in the city, and we've transitioned to cannabis over the last 2 years. So we were the first legal cannabis dispensary adult use in New York City. We opened December 29th, 2022. And I'm happy and proud to say that we are still doing really great business right now today.
And so that shop is coming up on the second year anniversary, I guess, if my bad math is correct. But it's like, so talk a little bit about that shop, how it got started, sort of, and sort of how it's structured.
Yeah, so we have Housing Works Inc., which is our parent company, and Housing Works Cannabis Co. falls underneath Inc. We have various departments within Co. So we have front of house management, back of house, myself, directors, and yeah, that's how we operate here. And then we do see a lot of traffic and a lot of regular repeat customers. We have a mailing list of over 70,000. And really, and they're really excited. And a lot of that is due to our original business. They really are fans of Housing Works and what we do in our mission.
Yeah, that's a big list. Obviously, it must support the operation, and you're expanding. Or did you open second shop?
We are expanding. We recently opened Housing Works Cannabis Co. Nomad, and that is located in the Nomad District, 130th and 6th, and that opened on Monday, this past Monday.
So you seem calm and collected, even though that's two shops in the busiest time of year potentially. Mm-hmm. Talk a little bit about that footprint and what makes the shop special.
So that one is a little bit different than ours. It's kind of like an outpost, and we're giving a really more direct, well, both locations give more of a customer-facing experience to customers. The budtenders are highly educated. They really want to bring that engagement back to the cannabis industry. We noticed that within New York City and New York State, there's a lot of kiosks. You know, you come in, you go out, and the kiosk does all the work for you, but we want our budtenders to have a personalized experience with the customer and build that rapport. And I feel like that's why we have such a great mailing list, so a large mailing list at this point.
And talk a bit about that interaction, but specifically how to train that into your staff, because I think we actually talk about it a lot on Thursdays with a retail expert. But talk a little bit about that, because it's not, there are people that love cannabis and want to talk about it. There are people that are great retail people, right? Great front of house people. Sometimes that's not a Venn diagram that intersects necessarily. Yeah. How do you get that to intersect, and like, how do you build that into your team?
I mean, it really starts right at the interview process. So I'm looking for, you know, people think they want to be budtenders, but then when I figure out they're a little bit introverted, maybe they like the systems, they like to work back of house. I'm looking for a person who has great energy, who smiles, engages, who has retail experience, and who has a real passion for the plan and a passion for education. So customers come in, some customers don't know anything about cannabis. They need a little bit of guidance. And those are the people that we really engage with. We do also have people who are cannabis enthusiasts. This is not new to them. We do have kiosks for those folks, and they just want to get in and out. But a lot of times we have repeat customers. We have 60% repeat customers here, and they have their favorite budtenders that they go to and learn from. it starts with education as well. So we have a comprehensive like education system that we start with the bud tenders before they get started with us. And they're required to finish it as per the state, but as per me as well.
Right.
They need to understand, everything from how it affects certain bodies, terpene profiles, things like that, before they're able to engage with a customer in the front house.
Yeah. What was your background before doing this?
20 years of retail experience, retail management, specifically in cosmetics. Then I transitioned to the thrift shops at Housing Works.
Right.
I always made it a point to work for like an ethical company or a company that gave back. So Housing Works really drew me in. I had a friend that worked here, and then I applied and I got in. And from there, I went to be volunteer coordinator, and I applied for the retail general manager position, got it over here. And then I just recently got promoted to vice president. So,
Well, congratulations. And this is actually the second time in 2 weeks that this conversation has come up. Someone compared uh, bud tenders to like someone that works at Sephora. That may be too complicated now, but it is like at Sephora, you go in, I think you have to talk to someone, even though all the products are there. And that relationship is really important in Sephora, just like it is in a bud tender. Do you think that's a good comparison?
Absolutely, it's a great comparison. Cannabis retail is very similar to cosmetic retail or any traditional retail. You want to get the customer's trust and have them come back. Without that, you really don't have a business. And I feel like the more people understand that in the industry, the more they're going to succeed, because it's really just retail. Cannabis is like the cherry on top, but it's operational heavy. Mhm.
And actually, the other thing that I hadn't actually thought about, and I only know because I have a teenage daughter, is that Sephora's, let's call it, use of their list, like how they engage that loyalty and that customer is like, I mean, I've never seen anything like it. Maybe Starbucks is like it, but like how that works, like how do you think about that as Housing Works in that conversation with the customer when they're not in store?
Yeah, so when we were thinking about like a loyalty program, which we kind of toyed around with that idea earlier in the year, we kind of looked at Ulta, Sephora, that model, and see how their point system work. Currently in New York State, there are no regulations for a loyalty program, so it's kind of in the gray right now. But we do model a lot of what we want to do with loyalty after those programs, like Sephora and Ulta.
Yeah, it's really unbelievable. And I mean, and the other thing is, as you've gone from one shop to two, and as you've been in it sort of 2 years plus, like, have you seen, like, let's say New York City itself, like it's becoming more competitive, obviously, right? There's many more shops
Absolutely.
opening up. Does that, I mean, one, that's good for the New York industry overall, but does that also make for more informed customers or people coming in with more background or having shopped around? Like, how has the customer changed in that time span?
The customer is 100% more savvy than when we first opened. They're really looking for bargains, also experience,
Yeah.
and people people that they can trust, going back to that trust aspect. But since the market has expanded, I think there's over 200 locations open in New York State. There has been a lot more competition, and we just have to keep the cutting edge. We have to go on with the marketing, go on with the education, and make sure that our budtenders are engaging in the right way to
Yeah.
bring them back.
And those 200 are selling lots of cannabis, and we've seen the overall numbers, and
Yes.
certainly you're part of that as well. But I actually want to flip that for a sec because as you've expanded, as the customers have become more savvy, as the base has become bigger, as shops expanded, so too have the brands, right? Like
Mhm.
the brands, there's some really great brands in New York doing incredibly well. Have you seen an evolution of the brands that you have in store as well? And like, is that part of the success of the industry too?
Yeah, absolutely. The brands are definitely expanding, especially our New York brands. We started with the main New York brands is Heirloom, Back Home Cannabis, Florist Farms. A lot of those brands are now leaning into more effect-based marketing, because they understand that, a lot of people in New York are still new to cannabis, or people who want to engage with cannabis are new. So they're labeling their products, effect-based. This is the easier way to market to that customer. It's like, I guess, I don't want to say layman's term, but it's an easier way for the customer to understand what the product does.
Yeah.
And we have seen that evolution with a few brands that we have. Mhm.
Yeah. And I was actually at Heirloom outside of Syracuse, and I was like, I don't know if you've been up there, but it's quite an operation.
Yes, it's beautiful.
Like you're like, oh my goodness, this is beautiful.
Mhm.
We're in the
Mhm.
apple orchard with a view of Syracuse. It's like
Yes.
unbelievable. But that's a difficult business, but so too is any brand, right? Any brand, any market is really challenging. But you've seen it through sort of early days to now. Like,
Mhm.
did you imagine it would be like this, even with the slow rollout, that you get to a point where customers know the brands are really expanding, your operations are dialed in. Like, while it may have taken longer to get there, like, is this how you envisioned it way back when, 2+ years ago?
No, I had no idea what to envision 2 years ago, especially since we're a nascent market, and I was focusing on just getting through the day. We had lines when we first opened, the lines were outside and around the corner, and because we were the only ones in town, and I couldn't see outside of that. I did a lot of thinking, and I did some research on other markets to see how it compared to New York. Not really similar, but now that things have slowed down, I am glad we're in a place where we are right now. We can catch our breath. We can really think about how we're going to market and what products to put on the shelves and what are really selling and speaking to customers. So yeah, at the time I didn't.
I want to actually focus in on like this week, because it is a big, like, we obviously 420 gets all the hype, but like between Thanksgiving and New Year's, there's like lots of key dates and timing. Like, how do you prep both inventory, your staff, the education component? Like, how do you think about, let's say, Green Wednesday to New Year's Day?
So we have vacation blackout times and like PTO blackout times between these dates, because we understand that, Green Wednesday is a huge day, and so is the week before Christmas and the week before New Year's. So we start with a blackout period where, no long vacations can happen. Then we make sure that our inventory is completely, stocked. We normally do a 3-week inventory run, so 28 days of inventory, and we always sell out. But we always also talk to the brands and make sure they know, we understand that the holidays are coming. We have a certain schedule that we want to adhere to. So they're bringing those products in weeks before, and we have them ready for the customer and ready to go. So a lot of prepping and planning and scheduling. Mm-hmm.
Can I ask you another question? Because your operations, they're both in Manhattan, right?
Yes.
Like, how do you take delivery? I don't want you to give like away secrets, but like, how do you take delivery knowing that there's like truck bans, there's timings you can get it? Like, how do you think? I've heard this when I've traveled to brands in upstate, how they make deliveries to Manhattan, but like, talk a little bit about that operational considerations, because it's different, I think, than almost everywhere else in the world.
Yeah, we live in New York City, and New York City, we can't just hop in a car and get anywhere in 5 minutes. There's always traffic. So our delivery people I can't tell you exactly what they do. They're very discreet,
Yeah.
But they do get to your location within an hour or so. And we have delivery windows 10 to 1, 1 to 4, or 4 to 7. And people get their deliveries in a timely manner. And we all deliveries operate out of our main location. And we make sure that the customer is happy and engaged. And a lot of our customers are repeat. We get people ordering deliveries sometimes 2 or 3 times a week, the same people. So that's kind of great.
It's interesting because, especially in Manhattan, especially in New York City, let's say, like the delivery operation was entrenched for years. I don't know, decades now, right? Getting cannabis delivered to your door. My brother lived there 30 years ago. Like, that's how you get everything, like laundry, food, cannabis, all of that.
Exactly.
Like that's a unique challenge in a heavily regulated industry where you have, like, it's just hard. But like, is that a key part of the business in order to be able to compete with the legacy market?
100% is a key part of the business, and I think what makes us, or what sets us apart, obviously everybody has their weed guy that they can call and get to their house, but the rapport that we build with our customers and the trust that we build, they know they're getting quality product. They know that if there's anything wrong with a vape or a defective, they can get their money, they can exchange and get an even exchange or get their money back for that. And they build that rapport with their delivery person. So a lot of them go to the same routes, they meet the same people throughout the week, and that's how we compete with the legacy market.
Yeah, it's like High Maintenance, that TV show.
But or Half-Baked.
Right, more fun. Right. Sasha, I really appreciate you taking the time this week, especially because I know it's incredibly busy at both shops as you're expanding, as you're dealing with the week before Christmas, week before New Year's, all that. Thank you for your time. We hope to have you back again. And kudos and all the success, both in year 2 on site 1, day, 5 on site 2. Have a good week. Have a good New Year's. Good luck over the coming couple weeks.
Happy holidays. Bye.
Thank you. We'll be back tomorrow with Robert Beasley, the CEO of Fluent Cannabis, about Florida, New York, Pennsylvania, Texas. We're talking a lot of things tomorrow. Sasha, thanks so much again. Tomorrow's our last show for the year. So everybody tune in. Have a good one, everybody.